morning, people. Welcome back to F Politics. By now, you've all seen Rylan talking about how awesome it is to be an asylum seeker in the UK. Well, I just got interviewed about that on the BBC, but let's go through what he said first.
That is a major worry. Now, taking politics out of this, let's just look at the country, Tim.
Well, at least he's consistent because he opens with bullshit. He is sat in front of a picture of Nigel Farage saying, let's look at the state of the country, and saying that he's taking politics out of it. My friend, politics is the state of the country.
This country is built on immigration.
Ah yes, of course we have to get in an I'm not racist but, and of course we know...
everything before the word but is horse shit.
Legal immigration, you know, a lot of the nurses, the doctors that have saved my mum's life have come over here from other countries, are living a great life, they're paying into this tax system, they're helping this country thrive.
The asylum seekers in those hotels are not legally allowed to work and pay taxes. So you're about to criticize asylum seekers for something they cannot control.
I find it absolutely insane that all these people, one, are risking their lives coming across the channel like that they are.
Because there aren't any safe legal routes for them to get here. If there were, they'd use those. Again, blaming asylum seekers for something they cannot control.
But two, when they get here, it does seem, and I think this is why a lot of Labour voters as well are now sitting there going, there's something wrong here.
I thought you were taking the politics out of it, Rylan. But yet now you're trying to say that Labour should lose votes. Which one is it?
It seems, welcome, come on in. This is the narrative we're being fed.
And that right there is the worst sentence in this entire rant. Because you are a host of a national TV show, and you're saying this is the narrative we're being fed. Yet you are willingly promoting that narrative while sat in front of a picture of Nigel Farage. Which means best case scenario, even if you are completely just innocently making a mistake, you know that the narrative you're spreading might be bullshit, but you're still choosing to spread it.
Here's the hotel, here's the phones, here's the iPad, here's the NHS in reception of your hotel, here's 3 meals a day, here's a games room in the hotel, have a lovely time and welcome.
Again, the asylum seekers coming to this country are not yet legally allowed to work. They have to go through the asylum process in order to get their working permits. So they literally cannot feed and house themselves. So do you want them to starve in the street? As for being given phones, yes, during COVID, some asylum seekers were given phones so they could actually process those claims. And now there are asylum charities that give phones again for the same purposes.
And then there's people that have lived here all their lives that are struggling. Yeah. They're homeless. Let's not even discuss our homeless. Yeah. There are people living on the streets, veterans, all of this.
So you're saying you're attacking asylum seekers because you care so much about the poverty that the rest of the UK is facing, but you're sat in front of a picture of Nigel Farage, who only exists on our TV screens because he backed Brexit for 27 years, which he himself has admitted has made people poorer. So you're parroting Nigel Farage's propaganda, knowing, as you kind of admitted, that it might be bullshit. So you're giving political backing to somebody who you know has made the British people poorer, and you say that you're doing this because you care about poverty in the UK.
Yeah. No, this isn't me getting on my soapbox.
Again, implying that he's not being political.
Because let me be honest, everyone's going to have an opinion about this and you're going to upset someone.
Again, parroting right-wing talking points of, yes, this might offend the left, but I'm just saying it as it is.
I believe that something major needs to be done about this.
And now we get into the scary Trumpy territory where he's saying something major needs to be done about the problem of these migrants.
The money that it's costing us.
It is an unavoidable reality that every Western country has to spend money on asylum. Even if that money is spent getting the military to send refugees away, it's still spending money. The questions are, how efficiently is that money spent and how morally is that money spent? And given that the UK takes far longer than other countries to actually process asylum seekers, meaning that we have to spend money on hotels to house them while they wait for their asylum claims to finish, there are definitely ways to save money on asylum that don't involve copying Nigel Farage.
The amount of people that are in this country that we have no idea who they are, what they've done, what they're capable of, and clearly we see a lot of it in the press at the moment, some of what some are doing, it's not all, what some are doing to people in this country.
There are 80,000 rapes in the UK every single year. The vast majority are committed by white Brits. So every time somebody pushes this idea that the main threat to women and girls in the UK are migrants and brown people, they are actually endangering the vast majority of rape victims because they take the spotlight off the vast majority of actual perpetrators because, well, that rich white man, He's not what a rapist is supposed to look like, which again makes it harder to convict the vast majority of perpetrators, therefore making victims even less likely to report it. Especially as Farage is the head of a political party which one of their MPs was convicted of beating his girlfriend, and Farage said that the crimes that man committed against a woman were irrelevant. So again, pushing the idea that if the perpetrator is white and doing quite well for themselves, we should turn a blind eye to it. The damage that people like Rylan and Farage are doing cannot be overstated. And by the way, I for one am personally shocked that a host of the This Morning programme would ever be racist and back up Nigel Farage. Can't believe that happened. But here's how it went down on the BBC, and they actually brought in ex-Reform Party politician Ben Habib.
Where are you on this, Femi?
So we've seen asylum hotels and immigration become a massive story that everybody in the news seems to be talking about. And the question that it just leaves me with is, do you care more about hurting foreigners or helping Brits? What is your actual priority? Because right now we have record levels of poverty in the UK. 4 million of those people in poverty are children. Right now there are the top fifth of the UK has 2/3 of the country's wealth. The top CEOs earn 122 times more than the average citizen, than the average worker. So we have a problem of poverty, and there are clear ways to fix it by actually addressing the widespread inequality in our system. Or you can try and take something from the people that are the most vulnerable on the planet, people who have fled war, fled persecution, traveled through the most dangerous shipping lane in the world in order to get here. Those are your choices right now. You can focus on hurting foreigners or helping Brits. And it really says something. Anybody who right now thinks the biggest issue in the country is hotels. Yes, I agree. Anybody who commits a crime against a woman should be. I won't go too violent with this. There should be punishment done to them. But there are 80,000 rapes in the UK. The vast majority of them are being done by people who are born and bred here.
But let me pull you back to my question, because some people think Rylan has described the experience of asylum seeker as like going on a city break. But is that the actual lived experience?
Hotel usage is a blunt tool to deal with the pre-existing problem. The pre-existing problem is the fact that it takes too long to get people to process
Not asking you about whether we should use hotels. Asking you whether, when you arrive as an asylum seeker, is it true? I'm trying to do a bit of fact checking. Is it true you get handed an iPad? Is it true you go to a 4-star hotel?
Again, your priority here is, it would be so bad if these people that have come here seeking shelter are actually given decent amenities, rather than, what will actually help the British people? Is that the real problem that we should be talking about now? Because that's the big topic that everybody's all over the front pages. Oh no, these migrants are being put in hotels. Oh no, that they're in these hotels. We are in a poverty crisis, and you care more about making sure that these people have a hard experience when they
into the country.
Okay, so again,
they've broken into the country. Do you accept that they're safe in France? Do you accept, Femi, that they're safe in France?
I am so glad you said this. This narrative of, they've come from France. France is a safe country. Why are they coming here? That narrative is based on the idea that unless every single country in Europe is basically at war or on fire, then the UK should never accept refugees, because we're so far away from the Middle East. Because if your logic is, if there are safe countries between here, Ben,
guys, don't talk over each other. Ben, we can't hear either of you when you do that.
If your logic is that if there are safe countries between here and where they've come from, they should stop there, that means that us as a country that is an island in the Atlantic, far away from the Middle East, which has wars, many of which we have fueled, like we are selling weapons to Israel, to Saudi Arabia, which is making that area significantly unsafe. Even though we are responsible for that, we should never accept refugees from there. Now, the host then asked Ben Habib to confirm that he doesn't want any refugees to ever be taken in by the UK, even though we are responsible, in part, for some of the crises that they're fleeing. And Ben Habib simply ignores the question. I try to butt in and get him to answer the question, but I'm shut out. But yeah, what Rylan said doesn't really surprise me. We're in an era where Snoop Dogg is tap dancing for Donald Trump. Millennial betrayal by all the people we once liked is a real thing. I'm Femi. Make sure you follow F Politics. If Politics doesn't F you, have a great week.